Hey guys, my name is Shashwat and I'm a legal intern at LEXIS and Company. In this video, I'm going to talk about the Trade Union Act 1986. In India, trade unions have developed into an important platform for putting up the demands of the workers. They have also turned into one of the most influential pressure groups, which is an aggregate seeking to influence the government in framing legislation in favor of workers without aspiring to become part of the government. As an organized institution, trade unionism took its concrete shape after the end of World War I. The trade union in India are essentially the product of modern large-scale industrialization, and the Union of India not grew out of any existing institution in the society. The Trade Union Act came into development when the labor legislation in India had a key impact on development on industrial relations. The establishment of social justice has been the principle of all the labor legislation in India. The establishment of international labor organizations to uplift the condition of the labor all over the world gave further impetus to need for well-being of labor legislation in the country. Under the Constitution, labor is the subject of a concurrent list, and both center and state can make laws related to it. The different legislation on labor in the country are: first, Apprentices Act in 1961, Contract Labor Act 1970, then thirdly the Employees Provident Funds and Miscellaneous Provisional Act 1952, Factories Act 1948, Minimum Wages Act 1948, then the Trade Union Act 1926. The Indian Trade Union Amendment Act 1947. In this, the laborers, especially the ones who work in unorganized sectors, lack the capacity to bargain, and this becomes a major reason for the exploitation. The right of the collective bargaining is provided only to those trade unions which are registered in India. There are legislation regarding the recognition of the trade unions, but there is no single legislation on registration of trade unions. The Act said that Chapter 3A was introduced into the Trade Union Act, which enumerated the conditions which are required for the mandatory recognition of any trade union. In this, there came the registration of trade union. The Trade Union Act 1926 was passed in the year 1926, as I said, but it came into effect in the year 1927. The Act contains the provisions related to registration, regulations, benefits, and the protection of the trade union. Section 3 to Section 14 of Chapter 2 of the Act deals with the registration of trade unions and the territory of India. There are many provisions, as I said, in this. Then there came the essential conditions for the collective bargaining, which included the favorable political and social climate, trade union problem-solving attitude, and continuous dialogue. The purpose of collective bargaining was to, before I tell about more, the collective bargaining then is that when an organized body negotiates with the employer and fixes the terms of employment by the means of bargaining is known as the collective bargaining. The essential element of the collective bargaining is that it is between interested parties and not from the outside parties. So the purpose of collective bargaining was to provide an opportunity to the workers to voice their complaints and grievances, to pave their way for the employer and worker to reach the amicable solution peacefully without having any will towards one another, to sort out the disputes and conflicts between the employer and worker, and to prevent any dispute which is likely to take place in the future by mutually agreeing on the contract. In the agreements for collective bargaining include bi-party agreement, settlement, and the consent of all. I may conclude by saying that the Trade Union Act 1926 is a welfare legislation that has been enacted to protect the workers in the organized and unorganized sectors from inhuman treatment and protection of their human rights. As such, the legislation contains the provisions for registration, regulation, benefits, and protection of trade unions, thereby benefiting the workers.